Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Universal Journeys Radio with your hosts, Dr. Brenda L. Bates and Donny Winter. Follow your heart, for only you know which path is right for you. Universal Journeys Radio is about how spirituality intersects with nearly every other aspect of our lives, even when we do not see it or realize it. Creativity and expression are our connections to the spiritual energy many seek to understand. Blah, 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 blah. Many seek to understand, and our identity is forged through this process. Universal Journeys seeks to help illuminate the different intersections between creativity, spirituality, and identity in order to empower and enlighten. Tonight, our topic is Donny Speaks, Creating Your Identity. And if you would like to call in, our number is 347-850-8292. You're more than welcome to participate in our conversation, ask questions, or you can log into the chat room and submit questions that way as well. So, hello, Brenda dear. How are you this evening?
Hello. Very, very well. This is going to be a lively show, I can tell you. It's going to be a really, really big show. No, a lively show.
I can feel it, too. I'm already starting to get tongue-tied, so you know it's going to be interesting.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. So, you know, several times throughout our show, we have talked about the importance of our own identities, following our heart in order to, find our path and stay on our path. And in a lot of ways, like this segment of the show is meant to discuss creativity and other things surrounding it. And forging our identity is a creative process itself. And we may not realize that we are creating something with every single decision and action that we do in life, but people often take that for granted. And I guess I've just come to the realization lately that I need to make sure that I'm always being conscious of following my heart. That way I don't sidetrack and lose myself. Before we get into discussing this, I did some research, and Forbes magazine interviewed an entrepreneur named, what's his name? Stedman Graham, who is the CEO of Graham and Associates. And they asked him a series of, I don't know, I've heard of him before. I don't know if you've heard of him or not, but...
is he from Oprah?
I have no idea. Actually, I think he may be because, I think that is the same individual.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, Forbes asks him, what does the word identity mean to you? And I wanted to give you guys his answer because I feel like this kind of gives us, a basis for defining what it is. And he says that identity is about positive traits. It also can be negative traits. It is a combination of things that you do. It's your talents, it's your strengths, it's your passions, it's what you love, it's what you care about. What we try to do is teach people how to develop a positive identity of themselves so they can self-actualize their potential as a human being. And he's discussing what I believe his organization does. And I just realized that we spend so much of our life trying to ignore and avoid negative traits because we feel like they shouldn't exist, when, in fact, we should acknowledge negative traits because they're just as important to us as positive traits. What do you think about that, Brenda?
Well, I agree with you, and I think it's because of society. Society has taught us to, not do the negative side of our traits and stuff like that, but yet sometimes we have to use those negative traits in ways that will ward people off from doing anything to you, or causing harm to you or whatever. Sometimes you have to use what is called negative traits from others, these traits to say, whoop, stop right there. You're not going to do this to me. You're not going to say this to me. You're not taking my energy. And you just have to stand up for yourself. And sometimes people consider that a negative trait because not going to say most, I'll take that back. Some people, you have to be very stern with them or almost to the point where they yell at them to get that shock and awe thing. Because when you do the shock and awe, that's like, whoa, that came out of you? I can't believe it. But, what are you saying? Yeah. So I think, and that's something that I've had to work with there for a while. And I still do every once in a while because I'm the type of person, I'm a people pleaser. So I have to learn when I have to stand up for me and say, no, this costs this much and this is what it's going to be. And I've had to do that with this new business just recently. I had to do that a couple times. So I'm learning a lot.
Well, people are trying to tell you what to do and how to do it, which in a way is them trying to invalidate the identity that you have created in yourself. So, you have gotten to the point on your path where you have realized how to counteract that so it doesn't damage your identity. But there are a lot of people out there who listen to what other people, tell them, like, how they judge them, and then they take it to heart and they completely change who they are in order to accommodate that other person, which is not a healthy thing to do at all. And, I have a friend who, I'm not saying any names, but I have a friend who is she's always adjusting herself to her other friends who continually, demean and badger her. And she's friends with these people because she feels as though she has no one else, right? And she kind of gets upset with me because every time she comes to me and tells me about this, I'm just like, then you need new friends. Seriously, girl, pay attention. And it's the thing is, people don't realize that if they regress if they regress their identity for the sole purpose of pleasing other people, they're never going to move forward in life at all. And that's
not
really
only
upsetting.
Yeah, and they lose their identity. I know what that's like because all my life, especially from a young child all the way up, I did what people wanted me to do or said that, okay, well, you should be this way, you should be that way. So I did that. When I got married, I became what the guy I married wanted me to be. And then after the divorce, that was a shocker because all of a sudden I couldn't identify with him or what he did. I had to figure out who I was. Who am I? Literally, I asked myself, who am I? What did I like? What do I like? With him, I like football and baseball and, not necessarily baseball, but football and basketball and wrestling and, boxing and let's just name a few things. Well, without identifying with him, I'm like, okay, what do I really like? Do I like football? Do I like baseball? Do I like bowling? Do I like this or this or this? And it's like, well, maybe not so much some of those things, So I had to recreate myself. Well, when I recreated me, who me was, then I met another guy, and I fell right back into that thing again, like being something that individual wanted me to be, to make him happy. And I tried to make him happy. It didn't work. So I was like, oh, well, the heck with this. I'm going to be who I am, and I'm going to stand up for who I am. And that takes a very strong person to be able to do that. And I still fall backwards every once in a while, but then I have to stand up and say to myself, no, Brenda, this is who you are. This is who you want to be. Not what someone else wants you to be. This is who you want to be.
And the thing is, sometimes it's important, sometimes it's necessary to fall backwards because, the whole thing, though, is to make, let me rephrase this, I'm getting all tongue-tied again. A person falls backward needs to consciously be aware of how to pick themselves up again, which you do. And you've learned that through experiencing similar things repeatedly, which I can attest to the same thing. But people don't realize that sometimes falling and then having to pick themselves back up helps open the door for other opportunities in their life. For example, my last relationship, which was a hot mess, I was with someone who really loved to party, like just drinking, bad, negative things that really didn't, do anything productive, at least not for me. And he consistently wanted me to participate and be a part of this, and he ended up, being like, well, if you don't do this, then I won't, care about you. So I continually tried to participate in this lifestyle to the point where it almost caused me to self-destruct completely. But then I realized at a certain point that, hey, I need to pick myself up, and if I really want to get beyond this, I need to remove that from my life. And after I did that, all sorts of different opportunities presented themselves to me. And that's the thing that people need to realize they can do.
And that goes back to taking control of your life, taking responsibility for who you are, not what someone else wants you to be. So it's a challenge sometimes. Yeah.
And then the question that a lot of people would probably ask is, how do we create our own identity? How do we discover that, and how do we form it? And for me, I mean, the answer is simple. I mean, it's almost so simple that it's impossible to see. You just have to close your eyes and see it. For me, it's just appreciating what you have, what you can do, and understanding that, just because you don't have certain qualities that other people expect you to have doesn't make you less of a person. And that's why bullies, for example, succeed as often as they do, because the people who are bullied, they thrive on that mindset where they're never good enough. They're never, they're not worthwhile. They're not worth anything. And when they open their minds and realize that it's those people who feel insecure that's, projecting their own insecurity at others, that's what's damaging their own identity, because they are falling within that same whirlpool of self-hate that ensnares everyone like that.
Right. I can understand that.
Right. So, I guess my response to that would be, stop investing your identity in everyone else's identity, because your identity is unique and separate.
I can kind of sort of agree with you there, okay? Because if you grew up with everyone telling you what to do and stuff, you don't have an awareness of that. The only way that I was able to figure out who I was when I lost my identity was to go back to my childhood and to look at what I enjoy doing, what I like to do, what I was drawn to. And that helped me to go to the next step, to the next level. And it was just some of the bizarre things that happened to me when I was a child without being around someone. And then I recognized, okay, all right, let's try to go in this way a little bit, or let's try going that way. So like this new business that I have, this is something that my artistic side has been stifled for so long, since high school, that I forgot about it. I forgot I had that. I knew I could, and I know I did, and all of a sudden I had the opportunity to bring it back to fruition. And fruition, it got me to be a business owner. And so I was like, okay, now I'm following my heart. And that's what the name of my business is FYH Creative Designs. Follow your heart, Creative Designs. That's what it means. So when we talk about following your heart here on this radio station, guess what? We mean it. That's it. This is follow your heart.
Exactly.
Don't follow somebody else's heart, because it doesn't work.
And, I firmly believe, because like you were saying, you had to learn. You had to go through sometimes experiences are necessary to get through, because they help us understand ourselves more. But what I'm talking about are the people who have gone through the experiences so many, they're in just a constant time loop of the same thing repeating over and over again, and then they feel like they are helpless and unable to change anything. And see, the example that I can think of off the top of my head that conveys this are certain relationships. People get in relationships, they consistently try to appease the other person. When they don't appease the other person, something happens, they break up. A few years later, they get back together, and the same thing happens again. Like, it's just a constant loop. And I know you and I were talking earlier today that this is a year of rediscovering things from the past. And I like this has happened in my life, for example, too. But I have another friend who she gets into relationships that end up being like the other person is using her and, you know, casting her away. And then years later she gets back with that person because they believe that some sort of change has happened, and they end up going through that same process again and again and again. And she, like, instantly she resorts to, I'm not good enough, or I'm unworthy. And I'm like, the thing is, like, you're not realizing that you are good enough and that this person is not at the same level as you are in life. And I think that's what people don't realize.
Right. And I was going to say something a little bit earlier, I mean, just before you started this particular conversation, is what's happening is that individual who needs to identify with that other person is saying, my identity isn't worth a diddly squat, so I'm going to go and be that identity instead. Well, you know something? Your identity is your identity. It's your individual or individuality of being human. I mean, you don't have to be someone else. And trust me, there are many, many people out there that say, oh, I want to be like her. I want to be like her. I've done it. I still do it every once in a while. But it's not really you want to be them. It's like there are traits that they have that you would like to have. So why not just look at those traits and say, okay, how do they have those traits? And if that's really something that you want to acquire, then you do it. You figure how to do that. You know, it's like being a minister, okay? I fell in love with a priest, okay? So part of that thing is, okay, he has some very good traits there as a minister. I would like to emulate those to a degree. I got to make it my own, but to a degree. So, and that's what I did, and that's what other people could do. But the thing is your identity is just as important as anybody else's. You just have to realize that, because you are an individual. You're a unique individual. Don't take that away from yourself.
Exactly. And even though you may feel as though that your own identity isn't good, there is someone else out there looking at you and admiring your identity and wanting to adapt certain traits that you have into their own identity. Like, that's perfectly fine, adapting traits into your own identity, but when you try to assume the entire identity of another person, not only does that invalidate your own identity, but that blemishes the uniqueness of the other person's identity as well, so it's damaging both ways. And that's why relationships of that sort don't work out. And, you know, this doesn't necessarily involve relationships either, because I remember when I was a teenager, like, there's always been this stereotypical idea of what a gay man should look like. They should be like this model-esque, gorgeous, you know, perfect-looking individual, and I always believed that I was never good enough and that I was never attractive and that I didn't deserve anyone because of that. And once I changed that mindset and realized when I entered, actually this has been within like the last 2 years I realized this, when I started realizing that, you know, I am attractive and that I'm not a horrible, ugly person, you know, I started attracting people to me.
Yes.
People being interested in me came into my life, and now I'm always like, I always have guys being like, I wish I could be with you, like, you're great, and I just enjoy being in your presence, and yada yada. And years ago, I never even had that, and I never would have imagined that I would have that.
I have to say it took a very long time. Yeah. I had to say, it took a very long time to get you there, though.
Oh, it did. It did. It did.
A lot of talking.
Yes, it did. You, of all people, don't it?
Yeah, I know. But, you know, you're beautiful inside and out. And once you start believing you're beautiful inside and out, guess what? You attract people. You attract people to you. Once you get rid of that neediness energy, and I had to learn this myself again. Once you get rid of that neediness energy, you allow things to flow. You become whole and complete within yourself, and then you don't have that repelling, because your neediness energy really does repel people.
It does.
And that's something that I had to really look at and to change, because it was there. It definitely was there. You know, and then you become...
Oh, go ahead.
Nope, I'm done. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, the thing is, like, that neediness, like that quote I just read, negative traits and positive traits are both important in forging an identity. The thing is, people, you can't get rid of feeling that you need someone or something. Like, I feel like it's human nature to always have that. What we're trying to convey is being conscious of that level of neediness energy, because if you're conscious of it, then you can use it when you need to and halt it when it's necessary.
Balance it. That's what we're looking at.
Exactly. And I can honestly say that my life has been 5 million% better ever since I started realizing that. I don't always need. I'm not less of a person. I'm not ugly. I'm not horrible. I'm not a waste of space. I used to feel this. I used to feel this every day, and I would wake up every day and tell myself this. And every day after telling myself this, that's all that I would get, because that's what I invited into my life, because I didn't expect anything else.
Right. And that's true. Same here.
Right.
Now,
and you can't forge an identity that way either.
Right. Now, you do have individuals out there who want to help you to better yourself. We're not saying don't listen to those guys, okay? Because just like Donny, Donny and I've talked a lot with talking, and for me, not saying I want you to be this way for me, is I explain things to him that he didn't really realize for himself. You know, like his identity, like he's beautiful inside and out. You know, he needed to be taught to in a manner to say, oh, I have the confidence. I am this way. I am that way, and this is who I am. So you do have those so-called people in your life that will help you and guide you. And exactly. They do that not for personal gain. That's the thing right there. They don't get personal gain. They get personal satisfaction to see that this individual took a little bit of advice and said, okay, now I'm making me who I am, and go forward with that. And I'm very proud of you for doing that.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
And see, and the thing is, people don't see that, like, listening is just as important as telling. And I had to listen to you in order to understand what you were trying to say. Because there was, like, a point in my life where I would always try to be like, no, no, you're not right, blah, talking out your ass. Well, I didn't say that. You were think this of you, but of other people, oh, you're talking out your ass, no. And then I realized that, Donny, you need to shut up and pay attention once in a while. Like, sometimes it's important for you to listen too. And once I started listening, then I started learning, and then I made that adjustment. And that's a lot of people don't like to listen, because they don't like to hear things that move them from their comfort zone. And as much as they don't want to admit it, being in that vulnerable mindset is comfortable. It's very comfortable. Yeah. It's a safe feeling, like you're in the safe little bubble of insecurity that is always giving you that falsely warm feeling of, oh, I'm not good enough, and that's perfectly okay because I'll never amount to anything. And that's the bubble that top.
Right. And, it takes an individual like myself helping, say, like yourself. We have to realize that you're going to go through those stages of, no, it's not, I'm not doing that, and just be there for you, and that's also a good mentor to do that. Like realizing, yes, you're going to go through this withdrawal stage. You're like, oh, no, that's not, I'm not doing that. So this is allowing, because, again, this is not my identity that I'm throwing on you. This is something that you have to learn for yourself. All I could do is say, okay, here you go. Here's some of the tools. Here's what I see, and then go for it. Then it's like, okay, here you go. Boop, there you go.
Exactly.
At least for that part of it. And be there. That's the thing. Be there. Be present. So.
Well, we are about 30 minutes into our show. Brenda, did we want to go on a break?
Yes, sir, we will. We are going to go and say, Take Me Home Country Road by John Denver. Here we go. And welcome back to Universal Journeys. I wasn't sure who was going to start the show, but it's okay.
I was going to, but then I was like, we're going to totally do it at the same time.
So, take it away, Donny.
Okay. So, if you guys enjoy listening to our giggly selves, and you want to follow us on our social media sites, if you go to Facebook and type in Universal Journeys, you should be able to find our Facebook page. It's a lovely picture of Dr. Brenda and I, and it's amazing. You cannot miss it. We're totally happy. And if you are typing in the URL bar, if you just type in facebook.com/universaljourneys111, you will be able to find us that way as well. And also, we're in the process of getting our shows uploaded to YouTube. If you go to youtube.com and type in Universal Journeys, you should be able to find us with extreme ease. So, yes, back at you, Brenda.
There was a reason why I put Country Road back there, because it has to do with coming back to ourselves. For me, it was a perfect, shoe-in, take me home Country Road. It's like, okay, take me back to the identity that I actually was born with so I know who I am to go forward. Yeah, so that's basically why I did that. Not that I needed to explain it, but it just kind of ties in.
I made the comment of Brenda, if that's not a country song, I don't know what is, but she had to explain herself. And I was like, okay, fair enough. I will give you that.
There you go. That's kind of funny.
Should we get to our callers? I see we have a couple callers.
Yes, sir. Let's do that. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Excellent.
Good. How are you?
I'm good. My name is Ashil, and I have a question regarding friendship too. Kind of a bit similar to what you were talking about earlier, and I'm trying to see if I can get some clarity.
Okay.
I met this friend of mine, my gym, actually. He was trying to get my attention for a little while, and I was just kind of ignore it, and eventually I kind of gave in, and we became friends. After a while, he started playing some silly game, kind of trying to talk to other people and kind of ignoring me, just stupid games. So what I did, since it was the beginning of the friendship, I just sent him a text and said, our friendship is over. I wish you the best. Good luck to you. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks later, he came back. He get down on his knees, like I'm a different person. Now I'm in a different space. We need to talk. I understand you don't have time for any kind of nonsense. I have this awakening, and I'm in a different place. And since then, he's been, talking, about God and spirituality. He even got me some angel cards. What they're doing, virtue, angel cards, and he's been, you watch the secret and all of that, and he sent me message, text, you and I just kept walking to each other for a reason. It's the universe, I'm like, okay, fine. And at first, I was feeling like there was an attraction between us, you know. And I was like, okay. And we talked, and he finally told me that he wants to find a wife and have kids. And I was okay with that. I have no problem with that. So he wanted me to spend time with him yesterday afternoon, which I did. And it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, you know, he had a friend of him coming through, and he wanted to go out to a club. But what's strange about it, he wanted to go to a men's club, a gay club.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm getting confused, you know, at that point. And then also found out that he dances in a gay club also to make extra money. So now my question to you, what is his intention towards me? Because he wants to get very close to me, and he even wants to probably get involved in the business with him. But I'm trying to understand the clear picture. I don't know, is he, you know, you telling me you're straight, you know that you kept staring at me all the time to get my attention. I kind of give it to you. You know, you want to get close to me. You start playing games and making me jealous for whatever reason. Walk away. You come back 2 weeks later on. You want a second chance to be close, which is about a person now. You know, I can agree with that. But the whole thing that you want to have looking for a wife, you settle down have kids, and you want to go to a gay club and want me to come with you, and I didn't go. You know, and I just, you know, decided not to go. So I'm just trying to understand what's going on here.
Interesting situation.
Yeah, I know.
the first, like, and honestly, I've been in this situation before where I've had someone else like this. It really, like, the feeling that I'm getting from you is that you're a very open, intuitive, and focused individual. Like, you know who you are, you know what you want out of life, and I sincerely believe that that is intimidating him, because I get a very, very uneven, shaky energy from him. He doesn't seem to know who he is. He looks to you for that stability, but he's also intimidated by how much you know yourself, because he wants to know himself to that degree. What do you think, Brenda? At least that's what I was getting.
Well, part of it, because I was really paying attention to this, because number one, we were getting clicks in there, so I had to pay a little more attention than I normally would. Not saying that I don't pay attention, trust me. But he said that he wanted to go out and find a wife, correct?
No, yeah, he wanted because I thought he was attracted to me because he kept staring at me all the time before we became friends and trying to get my attention. Because I don't know the straight guys who does that, but maybe they do. I don't know. Because I would not do that. If I want to talk to somebody, become friends with them, I go straight to them, I talk to them. You know, I don't try to be active around them. You know, so what is after that? Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, a normal straight guy, from what I understand, does not go after a good-looking guy. Okay, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And then you tell me that he actually dances at a gay bar.
Yeah,
I'm wondering whether or not. Yeah, I'm wondering whether or not there was a little bit of confusion. Maybe he was really saying that he wanted to, you know, say that I'm looking for a wife and wanted you to be his wife.
We talked about this conversation before because you said want to have wife and kids. Because that's what I want to make sure. I said, yeah, I'm looking for a wife that can settle down and have kids. Because I was losing a lot for a while yesterday. But then I found out that later on in the evening that he dances at the gay club, like in his underwear or something. You know, I never, you know, you get tips for that. And he goes to the club, and he goes to the gay club, and you say, okay, let's go to the gay club, which is on my street, because I don't even go to places like that. And I'm like, okay, why do you want to go to the club? He's going to go to a gay club. He's going to take off his shirt. He's going to dance. I said, well, why do you do that? Why do you go to the club and do all of that? I said, well, I just like the attention. I'm like, okay.
He could get attention like that. He could get attention like that with women.
That's why, you know what, today I was thinking about it. I said, why couldn't I tell him, why don't you go to a straight club? They have club where men dance also. You dance in a straight gay club. You go to gay clubs on a regular basis because I don't even go to that. And I also know you do massages professionally. I mean, just massages, not, happy handings or anything like that. to a lot of guys. I mean, but I'm just trying to, what did you want from me? Because when I walked away, he came back like little puppy. And then he keep telling me, you have to be closer to me. We're going to, you're going to have this business together. Just hang out with me. And he invited me last night. I didn't go because I was with him like for like 6-7 hours. I just wanted to come home. And today he invited me to the beach. I didn't go. So I just trying to like get my space a little bit, trying to think clearly before. I think he wanted me to go somewhere tomorrow with him again, but I'm not going to go. So I'm just trying to understand what's going on here. Because he keeps talking to me about telling the truth, sending me all this prayer to love, open his heart, all kind of crap. I mean, I shouldn't say crap, but.
Right. I know what you're talking about, yeah.
And you said to be open your heart and, love and, live the yesterday in the past and live in the present, which is what I believe because I work on myself too, which made me more connected to him. And he wants to be even more connected. It's like you stay with me, we're going to have a business there, we're going to make money, I mean, I have this revelation, I have a change of heart. That's what he told me. So I'm just trying to, you guys, I figure spiritually you can pick up. Probably give me a little more hint. Mm-hmm. That's what's going on, yeah. And what his intentions are towards me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Brenda.
I was going to say, I think he has, that he wants to be in a relationship with you. That's exactly what I feel.
That's what I feel, too.
He wants to be in a relationship with you. And what he was doing is he was testing the waters to see if you were gay or if you were straight.
But we talked about sexuality yesterday, and I came clean to him because he asked me, I said, yeah. So it's not a question anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because he asked me.
So,
I told him. And then I remember in the past when I used to run to him in the street when the friendship started, he's like, wow, you look good today. I said, yeah, but listen, I'm single. Summertime coming, I'm available. I've got to put myself out there. Because, he's like, yeah, I'm single too. And he kept saying that twice now. I was thinking about it. Okay. Yeah. So, I don't know. So what should I do at this point? I'm getting...
Well, he is on a path right now, and the thing is that he's not walking it. He's standing in one place, expecting something to take him down this path instead. For him, his comfortable environment is dancing at that gay club because he feels as though beyond that his sexual preference is unacceptable, and that's an insecurity within himself that he has. That's something that he needs to work through. Mm-hmm. And if he's this confused about himself deep down, I think the important thing for him would be to work toward understanding himself. And dating another person isn't always necessarily the way to do that. So for you, I would just continue being supportive of him and encouraging to him, I guess.
Yeah, because he calls you friend or brother. That's what he called me, So, and I know and today when we went to, there's a girl who invited him to that party. He wanted me to go today at the beach, And so I'm like, what do you want from me? And I noticed too, when he asked me earlier today, what are you going to do? I said, I'm just going to go out there, it's a beautiful day, who knows who I'm going to meet, I'm trying to, and then after that, he didn't respond to my text, like he was bothered with that. I don't know. Just...
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and it sounds like he may be bisexual as well, so that's a huge thing there.
But do you see this friendship going? Should I even think about the business eventually? Because he told me to think about it. I'm like, it's up in the air, and eventually to get involved with this company and do some project together. But I want to do it, but I want to make sure we're clear. You know what I mean? Okay, friendship. There's no,
Yep, I absolutely know what you're talking about, and that would be my first thought too. Is like, all right, if this is going to be a work partnership, or is this going to be, a friendship? What is this going to be? I mean, the lines have to be drawn there. because I feel like he wants more than just a work partnership thing.
That's
he
what
wants
I was
more of a
feeling,
relationship.
Because even with the way we met, he kept staring, because I don't know anybody who does that. I don't even do that. Stare, every time. I turn around, I see him staring, and then before we became friends, and that's what kind of, and why can't he just be honest with me? You keep talking about telling the truth now to be something about with the words, something to be, I forgot the word, something to be something.
Right. Sometimes we teach or we say the things that we most need to hear about ourselves. And it sounds to me like he's the one who needs to open his heart, because he's blocking something, obviously, if he's, dancing at a gay bar. So he's blocking something there. He needs to step into his integrity, and to be able to talk his talk or his walk.
And by the way, he has one of his friends is very gay. Best friend is gay, by the way. I just not want to touch on that. The one he went with.
Yeah.
Not that that means anything, but just like very dramatic guy that he wanted me to meet. Actually, you have to meet him. He's an amazing guy. That's what he wanted me. Yesterday, don't go home yet. Well done, he's gonna come. So I finally met him. And he was. So, do you see us getting along from this point on? I mean, I'm just trying to that's why I'm trying to avoid all the invitation. I'm not going because I'm just let me just sit down and think about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see you getting along until you say, no, I don't want to do this. And then that's when things are going to change. I don't know. What about you, Donny?
Have you asked him what he wants?
I asked him. I said, he said, no, I like girls. I'm straight girls straight guy who, work in the gay community. That's what he said to me. We are talking about something that came up.
Well, maybe he's a little confused. The other thing, too, is could it be possible that he's transgender as well?
It could be.
He has a pretty face, I can tell you that much. I mean, he's a very muscular guy. He's a big muscular guy, but he has a pretty face. My face is more manly than his face is, I can tell you that. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm just, it kind of bothers me because he's trying to get closer to me, and then this issue, and I can't bring it up to him. Like, he's going to say, what is the issue? You're like my brother. And then I want to spend time with, what is the issue? He said, I don't really have a point where I could, unless he's trying to put his hand on me, I say, what are you doing then? Then I will mention something, So I was alone when he take his shirt off and that kind of thing, which guys do sometimes. So I kind of overlooked that, And then he was getting ready to go out. Oh, come in the bathroom to see me getting ready. Okay. I didn't think too much of that. But,
right. I would be a little cautious. That's me. I mean, because, okay, you can't tell me what your intentions truly are. You want to take your shirt off in front of me, which guys, like to show off. I got that. Be like, whoo. As I'm talking, I'm throwing my shoulders back and have my arms out like, yeah, man, see my muscles?
Yeah, like you see, I got, he kept showing me because he lost a lot of weight. We have the same size. I said, okay, fine. So you look great. But, I just, at that moment, to me, my mind is, okay, you're my friend. That's what I was thinking. But until at the end of the day, he told me about going to the gay club. I'm like, what's going on here?
Right.
You want me to go to a gay club? Okay, you tell me straight, your kids. Okay, I'll shut that door down. It's done. Your friends, you get along. And then you want me to get a gay club with you? And then I ask you why you want to get a gay club, and you're going to take off your shirt and dance and all that. It's like, well, because I love your attention. I said, okay.
Well, he could be a Chip and Dale and do the same thing.
Right.
Yeah. That's something that I have to eventually, once I get a chance, just to ask you, why don't you do that? You're probably going to tell me you make more money that way. Something you might tell me that. I don't know. But do you think he's not being truthful towards me?
No, I think he's hiding something from you.
Okay. I think so too. And the thing is, I feel like if he doesn't open himself more, it's going to start definitely affecting your guys' friendship.
Relationship. Yep.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, I mean, this is a thing that he has to do. Like, I feel like you've clearly made your point to him. You have expressed to him that you're happy with the state of your guys' relationship. But if he's going to continually challenge that and kind of push you to the edge like that, I think that could be very destructive for the friendship too.
Right.
Yeah. Why doesn't he do that with his friend though? You know, I mean, maybe he does it. That was the first time I met him. But,
well, maybe he did that, and that's how he got his friends. I mean, you have an issue there with the identity. I mean, this is a perfect identity issue.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
okay.
Maybe he sees something in you that he wants in himself, but the only way to do that is be friends with you, and you know, it's almost like vampirism, you know, with energy.
Yeah, because
an energy vampire.
He literally went out of his way to be friends. And when he started playing these games, I shut it right away. I didn't even give him a second. I just said, it's over. I wish you the best. I want nothing to do with you. I run into him. I just pretend like I never met him in my life before. Kept walking. And and 2 weeks later, he couldn't take it. He came down on his knees and started telling me those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. So I don't know if I should. Sometimes I feel like I should just walk away, but how do I handle this? I don't know. And also, there's the business part of him. He's very driven, and you know, he's you know, who I am also, and I'm trying to have my own business as well. And then, you know, and I like that drive that he has. That he's trying to, you know, that's also what attracted me towards it. You know, so I have to think about all these things.
Yeah, and he used that aspect right there to start talking to you or to get close to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you definitely have to be aware of all of that stuff. And you know something, you have a very strong intuition. My question to you is, why aren't you using your intuition? I know you have to have confirmation. We all do. But your intuition is very spot on. Am I not right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know
I agree with it.
You know what's funny? That's the reason why I walked away the first time. I told myself, no, walk away from there. But then when he came back, you know, and told me he's a different person, a spiritual person, and he also made me realize that sometimes I shut the door too quick with people, because when people start the nonsense with me, I don't even give them the time of the day. I just shut it down and I'm done. Because I think it's unfair to be mean to people. I don't do that. So if you're gonna come to my life and I'm giving you love and you're gonna start acting like that, I'll just walk away from you. I wish you the best. I release your energy and I move on with my life. That's what I do. I usually deal with people. And I done that to him, and I thought it was over. And he come back 2 weeks later, and you know, start this. You know,
he's definitely drawn to your energy. There's no doubt about that energy. He's definitely drawn to that. And you'll have people do that to other people when they're drawn to an energy. If that individual has a strong energy about them, which you do, then they're going to like, oh, I want to be in his presence. I feel so this way and I feel that way. And then all of a sudden they start making things up as, you're my soulmate, or we're supposed to be together.
Yeah,
and
it's like, me, no. This is the work of the universe. You and I, we kept watching today. I know that's the work of the universe. It's supposed to be in my life somehow. You know, that's how, you know, when he sent me this long, you know, text explaining all these things, you know, that's what he's telling me. And I'm a very spiritual person as well, so I feel like, okay, maybe it's the universe telling me something.
Are.
You know?
Yeah.
The thing is, you need to be very, very careful with this situation. If he is the kind of person who's going to do anything he can to emulate you and keep you in his life, like, I mean, you don't know when he will stop. And I firmly believe that the first time your intuition was right. So I think it is absolutely important that you listen to your intuition about this individual.
Well, see, in that case right there, your intuition told you to stay away from him. Maybe that was the lesson that you both needed to learn to come together. You come together to learn.
Yeah,
that
because
lesson.
they came back a different person.
Yeah, but when is that person going to change back to the first person that you met? Which happens, by the way.
Well, see, the thing is, with him, he's the kind of person, like I said, who will do anything to get back into your life. So he's going to flat out say, hey, I've completely changed. I'm better now, even though he probably isn't. And
I'm sorry, you can't change in 2 weeks.
Right, exactly. And I do that to me all the time.
I went to his house. He wanted to play The Secret. He was doing angel cards, and and he got some for me. I'm like, oh, the spiritual. And then they picked, okay, I'm going to do a reading for you. And it's funny because the card they picked was very accurate, dead on regarding me. So I don't know. All of that is just because I can't remember the card was, but he was talking about me and my dreams and trying to, to believe in my dreams, all kind of stuff like that. So I don't know.
And that's exactly what you need to do. You need to believe in your own dreams, instead of going having someone else help you. Is this right here is like I'm getting this not so good smell. Like I get a stench. Like there's something brewing underneath that you're not aware of, and that you need to do exactly what your intuition told you to do the first time, and not let that individual back in your life.
My intuition is telling me to give it some time, and then the truth is going to be clear to me. So that's what I feel. Okay.
Well, and there you go. Follow that. It's just you have so many abilities in the intuitive aspect, or the psychic realm. Let me put it that way, because intuition actually is a psychic energy. But you have so much history there, so much ancestor. The ancestry is there with you, and you use it to the good. So continue to do that. Continue to call upon the ancestors to help you.
Definitely.
Well,
I like your energy, by the way.
Yeah, I'm a good person, and he says it all the time. You call me what it's like. You have an angel-like energy, and he's trying to surround himself with more people like that, and that's why the whole thing kind of got my attention. I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I should just give it a second chance,
Right, but see, you have to be aware of that too, because people take advantage of people who are just like you. Been there, done that, had to stand up for myself.
But I didn't know all of that. I never had any conversation with him regarding that. Just told me the thing. That's why I thought it was odd that after he came back, I never had any conversation with him regarding how spiritual I am, and he didn't know anything about that.
Yep. Tap into your ancestors. Your ancestors are very strong with you. So tap into them and go forward. Ask them, and they will tell you.
Listen to your intuition.
Okay.
Definitely listen to that intuition, because it's spot on.
Okay.
And the thing is with your intuition, if you follow it, you don't have to listen to us. Okay, that's the cool thing about all this. We're just giving you ideas. But when you follow your intuition, you follow your heart, you may learn lessons along the way. Okay, things might not work out, but you definitely learned, and you will grow. And your business will be better for it.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much, guys. I didn't mean to take much of your time, but
no, you're perfectly okay.
You are awesome.
It was quite an experience. I keep asking the universe why sending me those kind of experiences in my life, but I guess there's a lesson for me to learn, I guess.
No problem.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, too. So, with that said, guess what? It is at the top of the hour, and we need to hear some stuff here. Oh, yeah. Miss Independent.
Oh, Brenda, I
heard
that. Welcome back, everybody.
Definitely welcome back.
So before we start, I wanted to do a little promotion of my own for my own YouTube channel. If you guys go to YouTube and type in Donny Winter, you'll be able to find my main channel, and I talk a lot about gay rights, and LGBTQ rights, and anti-bullying and autism awareness, and I do a lot of nerdy things too. Basically, it's my eclectic little creative corner. And if you go to youtube.com and type in DW Speaks, that's my second channel where I write poems and I do my creative writing outlet. So feel free to go visit either of those places and subscribe if you'd like. Man, I cannot speak today. Subscribe, really?
Yeah, ooh, yeah, Mr. English major there.
Oh, right.
No problem. In speaking about autism and different things like that, I do want to bring out the fact that this month is Alzheimer's Awareness Month. And on the 21st of the month, which is called, what is it called here? The Longest Day.
Longest Day.
Yeah, the longest day. Find some place that actually doing something for the longest day to bring out awareness of Alzheimer's. Or you go on to alzheimers.com, if I'm not mistaken, and check them out. Donate. We really need to get down to the bottom, core issue with what's going on with this, so finding out why this is happening. Some of it I sort of kind of know because of the medications that people are taking is causing, them to lose their memory and stuff like that. But, I mean, this is something that is just as important as cancer and some of these other things. So if you get a chance, if you see something out there, please donate to it so we can find out and get a cure. I would appreciate that. I mean, yeah.
And I think it's quite possible that, I was going to say, I think it's quite possible that next week for our show we may be talking about Alzheimer's as an identity. Since our next week's segment is Cornucopia of Identity, I think it'd be very interesting to discuss. So
there you go. That's cool.
We'll see.
That's cool. That's right. We shall see. So, do we want to go to our next caller?
Heck yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. All right. Let's go. All right. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you. You just mentioned Alzheimer's, and my a family friend who just passed away, she had Alzheimer's. It was sad. I always think it's maybe because she was a smoker, but I don't know.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Yeah, really.
Are you taking only relationship questions, or just any questions, or?
We'll take any questions.
Okay.
Yes, we will.
So, I am looking for a job, and I went on 3 interviews in the last few weeks, and I'm wondering if you see any of them coming through as my next job.
It's interesting because and this is one of those things that kind of flop back and forth here for me, and I've not had this done before, but I was like, first of all, I was getting the 3rd job, and then all of a sudden in the background was the 2nd job. It was like, the 2nd interview. You had the 3rd interview that's like, poof, right there, but you also have that 2nd interview that was back a little bit that could be a possibility as well. So which of the 3 interviews did you like the most, just out of curiosity?
Well, the first interview, I don't know if I'm going to get I'm not going to get paid a lot for that job. It's like a teacher or teacher assistant. And then the job that I went on most recently was was a good job. It just, you have to work on the weekends and the evenings, which I wasn't crazy about, and you have to commit to a year. But I would if they offered me that job, the last one, because they said that people have worked there a long time, like one person who's worked there 15 years. So that's a good thing. That sounds really good. So that one sounded like I would take that one if they offered it to me. But she said she's interviewing a lot of people.
Okay. Now, what about the 2nd job? What was that one?
2nd job, I'm a social worker. 2nd job is working in a jail with a program that helps people that are not able to stand trial. So it's a program so they could stand trial. It was it's far, and it's, I don't know, it's just a lot of, to me it sounds like a lot of negativity. I would take, I'm right now, I'm like, I need a job. So either any of the jobs that if I'm offered any of them, I probably would take it.
I can tell you, and this is kind of interesting because it falls right into place where you're saying it was far, and when you talked about it, the energy shifted versus when we talked about the third interview. So I could see that you may be getting calls from both of them. That's what it feels like to me. And the one that really shines out definitely was the third one, not the second one. But that second one is also a possibility.
Oh, okay. See, but the first one, no, you don't see the first one. The first one probably not, right?
I feel like you are struggling between making a difference and having stability. Because I feel like in your mind, if you choose the second interview, the second job, you're going to be doing something positive for people that you'll enjoy, but it'll be accompanied with a lot of negativity. And I can understand why you're nervous about that and hesitant. The third job...
I want to be happy wherever I work.
Right. So what was the third job again? What was the position?
The third one was working with working with adolescents who maybe just came out of detention. It's going to the house and working with the families, and it's more of a counseling. It's a certain type of counseling that I'll be trained in. That I've never done before, but it sounds pretty interesting, actually.
See, for the third position, even though I think you did say that you'd have to work weekends.
Weekends and evenings.
That was the second. Yeah.
Even though it's more time consuming, I feel you glowing when you are thinking about it. Like I
me
feel
too.
You glowing because you will have. I feel like you'll have more flexibility, and you'll be able to make more of a difference in that position. Because in the second position, those individuals are in a negative situation already. You know, with really, and they really don't have many options, but they ended up in that place for a reason. Now, these adolescents aren't necessarily in that state, like, for a specific reason. It could be a variety of different influences that requires them to need help. And I really feel this third one coming to fruition for you, definitely.
Oh, wow, that's great. Actually, because I would feel really good about myself because she said she's interviewing, like, a ton of people. So that would make me feel really good if that came through. So, yeah.
Well, the other thing, too, is you're working with adolescents. Look at the opportunity that you have to help them build a life that was much better than what they came from.
Absolutely. Yep.
You know, and just talking to them and counseling them, you could make a difference, a whole world of difference to these young people versus people who are already in jail and stuff like that. Not saying that they can't change, but 9 times out of 10, they're like Donny said, they're there for a reason. And
I know.
That's a little bit a dimmer view. And it would dim your light way too much versus dealing with the adolescents here.
Good. I'm so excited. I saw this yellow bird pass by me, and I'm like, I'm wondering if that's a good sign. Maybe that's my mom or something.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign. That's a great sign.
Yeah. I think so too.
Well, that's exciting. Thank you. I'm happy now.
You're most welcome.
Okay. Have a great evening.
You have a great evening.
Thank you.
Too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was awesome.
That was totally awesome. I enjoyed that. That was great. I love having those things. Okay, so let's go to our next caller. We have another caller here.
Okay.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Welcome.
Well, hello. How are you, darling? I just called
hello.
But since you brought me in, how are you?
We're
awesome. How are you?
Good. When I came in, I had to laugh because I got home kind of late. I had a busy day, and I thought, I'm going to call in and listen. And the minute I called in, I heard something about somebody removing his shirt and dancing in front of somebody, and I said, oh, my God, if there was ever a good time for me to call in, this is right now. Oh, you guys are doing great. I don't have anything. I just called to listen, and you guys are great. I love hearing you guys go. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you.
Oh, thank
Actually,
you. So awesome.
yeah, if you want to stay on the line with us, Jonathan, you're more than welcome to do so because, you have some things to tell us, too, about, some of the things that we're talking about. So, yeah, I think just if you want to stay on, we don't have any other callers, so why not?
Oh, okay. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah,
so,
I would love to. Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, so...
How are you doing?
Well, okay, we'll touch on that for a minute then. So I'm feeling great. I will tell you that. The last 2-3 days has been a really big kind of wake-up call for me. I was slipping. I was slipping pretty deep into a really dark self-depression. I went from working in my day-to-day to not being able to do anything recently. And my doctor's really encouraging me to take my life on a different path and go on disability and things like that. And I've got a big struggle with that, and I'm not okay with that. And I think it's because I've been working since I was 14, and I've never slowed down.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's been a tough thing, and I've kind of hid a lot of my things from people and the way I've been feeling, and I made the mistake of taking my partner to the doctor's with me the other day.
Yes.
And he tattled. Oh, boy, did he ever tattle. He grabbed that doctor, and he told him everything that I have not about the depression, about the crying, about everything.
Good.
And boy, oh boy, did that doctor give me a really good spanking. And in the interim, he got on the phone with some of my closest friends, and I got a phone call from Stacey Jones and my friend Diane Poland in Pennsylvania and the wonderful John Stapp, all in that same day. And boy, oh boy, they did not wear kid gloves when they spanked me, let me tell you.
Wow, you got lots of spanking.
Well,
God,
something, Jonathan, if I was there, I would have been spanking your butt, too. Because you can't let yourself go like that. For what you do and the information that you have to get out to people, you have to have everything going for you. Okay?
And that's the serious part about it is when I do the Wednesday night and the Friday night shows, I am on fire, and I love that because for whatever reason that became the highlight in my life for the last couple months. And so when it comes on, it's like boom, everything goes away and I'm on fire. And it was Deb and everybody else who went, oh yeah, we know why, because the rest of the time you sit and you don't mean to, but you're sulking and you're letting all this stuff eat you alive. And you know what? They weren't far from the truth. And I'll tell you what, in the last couple days, I've gotten up. I started my hydrotherapy in the pool. I started walking. I've started doing some things that I wasn't allowing myself. My creative outlooks are coming back. I'm starting to paint and draw again. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot to be said for that. When you really put belief back in yourself, and I didn't even realize how depressed I was. Or how far I had fallen. But once you realize that and you start to turn that around, man, oh man.
Makes a drastic change, doesn't it?
Oh, immensely. And even, honestly, Donnie, even with the pain, because I'm in pain constantly. 24/7 I'm in pain. Or let me rephrase that. I was in pain 24/7. The minute I started to refocus everything, I mean, it's still there. You know what? I decided to say a mantra now every time I hurt. And I speak it out loud every time I go to get up or I move and it starts to hurt. I say, thank you. You remind me I'm alive.
Yeah.
And that's what it boiled down to.
I'm really glad that you came on. I'm really glad that you came on and shared this because during our show today, we've been talking about forging our identity and how we allow different things influence our identity. And a lot of people, I think, go through the exact same experience you're going through. I mean, maybe different causes and everything, but when we have significant life events that change, that we perceive change the direction of our lives, that really can cause us to regress when it comes to our identity. And I think you've just realized that has been happening, and now you're putting your compass back in the right direction. You know, you're pulling that arrow back in the right direction.
Oh, absolutely. And that was one of the things that we had gotten home from the doctors the other day, and I had a rough day because we went out, we walked, we went out to lunch. We did a lot of things that I have not done in a long time. And I came home and I told Derek, I said, I have to lay down for a minute. I have to go to bed. And he said, that's fine, go ahead. And I took probably a 45-minute nap, and he came in. He heard me getting up, and he came in and he started talking to me, and he said, this is what I want from you. And there was a couple eye-opening points this weekend. And one of the ones was when he sat down and spoke to me, he said, listen, I tell him every day how much he means to me and how important he is, because he stood by me through this entire sickness, which a lot of people would run from. And he's done the opposite. He's been 20 times more supportive than most people would be. And the one thing he did say is, the only thing that bothers me is I know that you still have it in you, but right now you're not showing me the person you were or are when we first got together. You've become somebody different. And he said, I still see it in you, but if we don't rescue that, you're going to be gone. And that was not a slap in the face in a bad way, but my God, what an eye-opening statement. I thought, he's absolutely right, because I would always, even on Facebook of all things, you know, we use that as such an outlet. I would post positive things daily, and I was always posting things to friends and, you know, hey, let me help you get out of your slump. And he said, do you know, every time I talk to you, the first thing you say is, well, you know, the doctor said. And he's like, why are you hanging on to what these people say? Why aren't you listening to spirit? Why aren't you listening to your ancestors? Why aren't you listening to your spiritual side and saying, you know what, it hurts, it sucks, I can get up and I can move on today. And you know, that's been a really kind of harsh lesson to deal with in the last couple of days, but at the same time, what a great gift to wake up and realize I'm still here, things are still going to be good. Maybe some aspects of my life are going to change, and maybe some things I do on the day-to-day, and things are going to change, but guess what? I'm still here, and I can still be the same person. I just may have some other things around me that change, some dynamics that change, but that doesn't mean that I have to change who I am.
True. That's exactly true. You know, this young man came into your life for a reason, and he's going to take care of you. You need to allow him to do that, because he is an awesome, awesome young man. Okay?
Oh, absolutely.
And
I won't argue with
you.
that.
Know, yeah, you know that. And the thing is yes, you are going to be taken in a different realm of not being able to work and stuff like that. And what the doctor says is true about, you know, you going on assistance type of deal. Don't feel bad about that, because you busted your butt all this time to do that. Right. What this opportunity is going to give you is more opportunity to get out there and do what you truly love to do, okay, which is not going against any of the stuff that you're going to be receiving this assistance for. And also, you are going to have more time to be with this young man who loves you more than you can even think about or imagine.
And I agree with you. And I've really started to let that sink in. And, you know, one of the things that I've realized is in the last couple of days, I picked back up my art. And I love to paint. I love to draw.
Yeah,
and I used to sell my artwork like crazy. And here's the other thing. I love to read, and I love to assist people. And, you know, I've got the best support team ever with Deb and Debbie. And they're telling me, my God, you've been on fire lately. There's a reason you got sick, and maybe part of it was to hone in your abilities And then the other aspects will fall in. And I'll tell you, it's keep being a broken record, but in the last couple of days, it's really been eye-opening.
Yeah,
right.
And it's been one of those aha moments when you go, aha. And it goes back to what you were talking about with identity. I don't have to change who I am, which I was going down that road, but I can adjust, and I can get some better qualities out now.
Right.
Definitely. I adore you and your significant other. You guys are so adorable. Like every time I see posts and pictures, I instantly smile. It just makes my day. I just wanted you to know that.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. Because
even if you are if you're having a bad day, just remind yourself that you are brightening people's days by the cute, amazing things that you're sharing all the time.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. That does mean a lot. And I'm trying. I mean, I shouldn't even say I'm trying. I'm there. I'm getting back to who I am, and that's the biggest thing.
And see, the most powerful thing is that you're conscious of it. You're conscious of the fact that you're falling off track from the person that you were. You were falling off that path. You were falling off your own path. And that's what I think Brenda and I have been trying to talk about today, too, is that if people are conscious of it, then they have the capacity to make that change and to move forward, which is exactly what you're doing.
Yes,
and I'm so proud of you for doing that.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the messages I got was from a friend, Michelle Griffin, and she has the event Through the Veil every year. And I've been an addict, and I've been going every year, and this year I couldn't go because of my health. And that's where my real depression started to set in, because that to me is a homage, and that's an awakening, and that's going home to my family and my tribe. And Michelle, in the last week, got a hold of me, and she said, I want to give you a profound statement. And she said, it was a statement we made last year. And she said, all I want you to think about is this, 2 words. And I said, okay. And she said, I am. And she said, that's it. I'm going to let you go tonight. And she immediately hung up the phone, and I went, whoa. And that is a really profound thing. People think about that, especially if they're going through something with their identity right now. Think of the words, I am.
I am, yes. Because those words can invoke a lot of different things.
Oh, yeah. And I am so much more powerful than what I thought and what I was letting myself be. And now I am going to be who I've always been and be even better.
Yay!
And that's who I am.
And see, the thing is, it takes so much strength to come to that realization. People don't, we're always trying to give everyone else our power. We're trying to build our sense of identity based on life events and other people's opinions. But at the end of the day, if we take our own opinion of ourselves and bolster that, that makes us basically more powerful than anything negative that would try to bring us down.
Absolutely.
But getting to that point is like climbing a mountain because it's so daunting, because owning the words I am is a very scary thing to do, because not everyone necessarily knows who they are. But at least embracing that's taking a step in the right direction.
Oh yeah, it's a very terrifying thing, and the thing for me is the more terrifying thing was who I was allowing myself to become the last couple months when I was dealing with this sickness, because I was letting myself become somebody that I am not and I'm not familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sleeping most of the day, and when I wasn't sleeping, I was feeling sorry for myself, or I was crying, or I was cursing the world, and I have all these beautiful people around me that are right there, standing right next to me and lifting me up and helping me every day. And then I finally woke up and said, whoa. You know, it took a few good spankings, but it made me go, okay, I'm okay, and I've got this.
You got this. You definitely got
love to call it spankings.
Yeah, really. It's like, oh, you must really like.
See, in
I'm
that
not
case,
going anywhere.
spankings were a good thing.
I'm like, I think I'm going to stop now. Thanks.
Yeah, I could go so many ways with that, but I won't.
I did. That's why I said I got to stop.
My brain just went in the trench. No, it's not a gutter anymore. It's a trench.
This
we
too
have
funny.
to go there.
This is funny.
Oh.
I just lost our thing here. Imagine that.
What thingy?
Well, the only hope that I really have is if anybody gets anything out of the last couple minutes is that they can realize that no matter what the situation is and no matter how bad you think it is, it's really never that bad. It's not. And it can take two simple words like I am to start waking you up.
Mm-hmm. Right. You know, I learned something when I was going through my bankruptcy, okay? And I'm not afraid to say or tell people that I've been through bankruptcy because I have. It's like one of those things that happens to spiritual people, even non-spiritual people. But I had the lawyer once tell me, she set me down after everything was said and done. Wasn't even my lawyer, by the way. It was for the other people. And she told me, she says, my grandmother used to always tell me this, and I want to share this with you. And so we sit down, like I said, and she told me her grandmother used to tell her 3 words, famous 3 words, this too shall pass. And I started to think about those 2 words. In those 2 words, all of my life, if something happened within my life, it passed. And this too shall pass. Mm-hmm. And she was absolutely right. Sometimes we have to go through some of these things just to remind us that, and this too shall pass.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that's exactly what it is. You know, the thing is this young man that came into your life was a godsend. Okay? Godsend, if you want to call it that way. Because he came into your life the right time, at the right moment, to help you. He's not going anywhere. You're not going to let him in. He's not going to want to go. This is something that's going to be there for a very, very long time. And he wants you to stay with him for a very, very long time. That's why he loved you so much that he told the doctor all the stuff that you didn't tell him.
Yeah, I know. As hard as that was to swallow for the minute, I know.
Uh-huh. So, you know, this is a true love. This is something that you've been wanting for a very long time. Okay? Since the love of your life had passed.
Yes.
He's the one that replaces him. And I knew when I first met you and you talked about that, it's like, wait, my friend, guess what? You got one coming in for you.
Yep.
Mhm.
And this,
yeah, because we had
is.
that really profound conversation about that dream, and I told you about that dream, and I had a dream about my lover that was taken away from me, and in that dream, everything was black, and all I saw was darkness, and all of a sudden he stepped out of a lighted doorway, handed me a book, and said, read the chapter, turn the page, and continue the story, and was gone.
Yep.
And I remember telling you that, and we hugged, and I was in tears, and I wasn't quite sure what it meant. And I had already met Derek, and we had done some dinners and some small dates, and then it was like right after that I came home, and boom, 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 boom. It was just like, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, you got to deal with me, wake up.
Yep. See, and I don't even know if I at that time knew that you were with or had, had anything to do with Derek. I don't know if we had even
nobody did. Nobody did because I keep when I do see somebody or start a relationship, I keep it very, very quiet.
Yeah.
And you guys know how it is, and I'm sure, Donny, you know, when it comes to our world, our relationships can end in 3 days. So
Yeah.
I don't talk about it. I keep it very quiet. And at that point, when I had met you, Brenda, we had been dating on and off for about 4 months. And I just, you know, it was one of those unsure things where I wasn't sure what was going to happen, where it was going to go. I didn't want to put any emotion or anything into it. I got home, and it was just like I was at the top of the hill for that roller coaster, and then I was going right down the hill. And it was like, hang on, because here it comes.
Yeah. You know, and your lover who passed actually had a lot to do with everything in bringing Derek into your life. Okay.
Oh, I absolutely agree with you. I really do.
Yeah, he planned it, he set it up, the whole 9 yards. You know, that's like when people tell me, and I have them tune in, you know, to me, and Patrick pops up, and, you know, I ask different questions, and they tell me that he wants me to go out and find someone or, you know, allow someone to come to my life, but that's not what I'm getting from Patrick. You know why? What I'm getting from Patrick is he has someone that he has handpicked to come into my life, and I will wait.
Well, and you know what, sweetheart? That's what I got out of that dream I told you about. Because I called Deb DeRoos, at 3 o'clock in the morning, and she'll gladly share the story with you, losing it completely because I had woke up from that dream and I was wide awake. And the only person I could think to call was Deb. And I said, this is what just happened. And, of course, I get laughter on the other end of the phone, and I'm thinking, why are you laughing? This is mean. Stop laughing. And she said, honey, you're not getting it. And I'm in tears, and I'm like, I don't know what it means. And she goes, I do. She goes, and it's almost scary because what you said about handpicking someone, she said, he's got somebody picked out for you, and you're going to realize it very soon. Very soon. And I said, no, that's not what it is. And she said, oh, yeah, it is. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So awesome.
Oh, there it is.
Totally cool. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know already, Jonathan is on the what is it called? True Paranormal. He is one of the hosts there on Friday night from 7 to 9 p.m. right here on Spiritual Awakenings Radio.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So, Jonathan, while you're here with both of us, Donny and myself, what are you picking up for us, if you may, or if we may?
Oh, well.
I'm putting you on the spot there, guy.
Yeah, Miss Brenda and Mr. Donny. A whole lot of craziness in a good way. And let me tell you why. One of the things I pick up with Donny all the time is when you start to speak about bullying and LGBTQ, all the equality stuff and everything, you are so much more of a leader than you know. And I don't know where this comes from, but every time I hear you speak, there's a voice in my head that tells me, God, this guy's got it, and he's helping so many people, and he needs to know how many people's lives that he touches, influences, and saves on a daily basis. And I don't think, you know, here's what it comes down to in our humdrum lives. We do our little blurbs, we do our YouTube channels, we do our little videos once in a while that we throw on social media and stuff. And we don't ever think about where it goes. Or maybe we do, but we don't put it out in our minds the way it should be. Donny, you've got a great quality, my friend. You've got a huge freaking heart. You've got a huge heart. You're a beautiful person inside and out. And people pay attention when you speak. And you touched so many lives And when I've watched some of your YouTube videos and stuff, I can almost envision, and how scary is this? Maybe you'll get it, maybe you won't, but I envision these 13, 14, 15-year-old kids stumbling across your videos and thinking in their heads there's something wrong with them, they're less than, they don't belong here, maybe they should kill themselves, whatever it is. But when I envision that, I also envision them in a whole circle of light and love. And it's because of what you put out there that you affect these people and you touch them. And whatever it is with Spirit, when it talks to me about you, whenever I hone in on you, Spirit always tells me he needs to know how important he is, and he just doesn't always get it. He doesn't. And, you know, I always say when I start to talk about the messages I get, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, and maybe there's things I'm going to say you don't want to hear, and you don't have to recognize that, and that's okay. But for some reason, I think at times you doubt yourself, or you think you're fighting a battle that can't be won. But I'm telling you right now, you are. And if the spirit world recognizes it, there's a reason why. And it tells me that you need to keep getting your messages out there, that you influence so much more than you know on so many levels. And not only through what you do with that small stuff, it's carried over on Mystical Awakenings Radio, because on Wednesdays and on Fridays, we get people that will call in, and Debbie and I always laugh because they'll be like, yeah, we just talked to you guys on Sunday. And we're like, no, did. And they're like, oh, yeah, you did. And you know, we asked you about this, and we're like, no, you didn't. We're completely different people. But that also turns something on in my head and goes, you know what? They're touching people in ways that they don't realize. And Brenda, my God, with you, it's like freaking fireworks going off. And let me tell you something. You put up a really good facade. And you can smack me in person. You can smack me in person when you see me. But I'm going to tell you right now, sweetheart, for as bubbly and as sweet and as out there as you are and so positive, don't you dare deny for 2 seconds that you don't go home at night and doubt yourself and you slip into some sadness now and again, because you do, and I know you do.
Yes, I do.
And I've been told this several times. And I've been told that you are one powerful little bundle of joy that doesn't always realize your worth. And the only thing I can say to you is wake up. Wake up. Because I'll tell you what, right now, not only are you love and light, and you send that out, when you touch people, and I mean this, I don't know if you've gone into Reiki or healing or anything like that, but when you hug people, the power and the passion behind your touch is more than you will ever know. Because the weekend I met you, when I grabbed you and we hugged and I was crying, how fast did I stop crying?
Yeah.
Because you made me feel so loved. And you know what? I'm going to spill a little tea here, and I'm sorry, but all that madness that happened outside, and we won't go into details, but that night could have turned really ugly really quick. When I came back, what did you do with that? You pulled me aside, we hugged, we talked, and you sent it away in a heartbeat.
Yep.
And part of the reason I kept standing next to you with my arms crossed and just kind of turning and looking at you, and looking you up and down, I wasn't judging you, darling, at all. I was thinking, oh my, this woman does not know the power she has. She has no idea. And that's the thing about you and Donny both. You're both very powerful people that don't know how powerful you are. And you guys are great. I mean, don't get me wrong, you guys radiate so much love and light, but stop. And this is so easy for me to preach, coming from the guy for the last couple months that sat in his bedroom and cried and everything else. But stop getting down on yourself, because you two are so important. And I'll tell you what, you're important in my life, obviously, because I follow you guys on Facebook. I watch your posts. When I can, I call in and listen to your radio show. And I mean, obviously, there's a big reason I did tonight, but I do that because you guys have a message to get out there to the world and to people. And let's face it, my little darlings, even if we just touch one person, isn't that enough?
Yeah.
As much fight, isn't that enough? And I'll tell you, you both touched me, and I've heard you both touch several other people, and you guys are important, and you have a meaning, and that's a reason why you have this show, and why you are who you are. And that brings me back to you, Brenda, and your little hugs, and your little smile, and your sweet cuteness. Stop being so sad, and stop getting down on yourself at times. You have no reason to, my darling.
Yeah, and that's, I hear you, okay? I really do hear you. And I do know.
And now you sound like me for 2 seconds. Now you sound like me for 2 seconds.
Yeah, and I do
So go ahead.
know of the, not the total extent, but the extent of the power that I do have. My thing is, in a past life, and I know this for a fact, in a past life, I abused that power. So I swore when I came in here this time that I would not over-abuse that. So I pulled back quite a little bit, okay? So I don't want to do that. So I'm gradually letting a little more out. Yes, I am doing that. And I can feel it. And the other thing is, I just said I could feel it, okay, to an extent. But it's not until someone like yourself comes out there and says, okay, this is what I feel. This is what this is. Because we're so used to ourselves, and I can say this for Donny too, we're so used to feeling our own energy and just being who we are, we don't realize how we do touch people, how we affect people, and stuff like that. So, yeah,
and you know what?
We both go back.
You know what?
Yeah.
Amen to that, because that is the catch-22 for me too. I'm sitting here preaching at the two of you, but that's just what I went through. But at the same time, this is my wake-up, is when I'm told when I talk to people, I make them wake up a little bit too. And I'll tell you what, Donny, I can't wait till the day that you and I are in the same room and I get to hug you, because you're going to get one. And then I have to warn you, you're going to get a follow-up from Derek, because here's the wonderful thing about my future husband. And I say that because we're setting a date. But anyway, aside all that, he knows everything about every single one of you. He does. Because I don't hold back. And I am so completely honest, it's almost to a fault. So I tell him about everybody, the radio shows, everything. He listens in most of the time. He knows. And I'm telling you, I'm going to hug you, and then I'm probably going to pull you aside, and I'm going to spill some tea with you and go, okay, here's some other things we need to talk about, because I'm probably going to read it the minute I touch you, because that's the way it goes.
Well,
that's what happened. Well, when I embraced Brenda, that's what happened. It was like, and it's so hard to describe. I don't know if you guys get this as mediums, but I get these flashes of light and these things that go through my mind and these voices that just start, and it's like, oh, my God. And that's why I knew Brenda. Wow, what a powerful, healing woman this is, who does not give herself the credit or the appreciation she needs. And I've never said that to you in tonight.
No, you have not. You know, the thing is sometimes if we really understood the power and stuff like that, we could go like so many before us have gone off the other end. Instead of staying humble and understanding, we could get a big head. We could say, "Oh, So that's kind of the saving grace. Now, while I'm talking, I have to say something too. When you said something about healing, about touch, the other day in the credit union, because I work for a credit union, and the other day in the credit union, I was doing a loan for this couple, and this gal came in, the wife. Came in and sat down, and she was having a heck of a time with migraine headaches. And her husband was an EMT, or is an EMT. So he's doing something to the back of her neck, trying to loosen that up a little bit back there so she could calm down. And and things like that. And I told him, I said, you need to go a little bit higher. And he says, well, this is the point that I'm like, okay, fine. So he stopped, rubbing the back of her neck or the pressure point back there. And she was still very, very much, she was leaning over on the table and she just wasn't doing very well. And I told her, I said, okay. I said, excuse me for just a minute. This is not credit union business, okay? However, may I touch you? And she said yes. She hesitated a little bit, and then she said yes. I said, okay, I'm going to come around the backside of you, and I'm going to touch your neck. And one hand on your shoulder, one hand on the neck. So I did that for just a little bit, maybe a couple minutes at the most, until I felt the energy kind of just lighten up and let go. So when I did that, I went back around the desk, and I started talking to them about the stuff, and then I looked over at her, and she was sitting up straight, and I said, you feel better, don't you? And she says, yes. And then all of a sudden it dawned on her who I was, and I didn't know her from Adam. At least I didn't think I did. But several years ago, I had done a reading for her over at one of her friends' place that I had no idea. And anyhow, I saw her a little bit later because she had to come back in and get some paperwork that I had that she didn't have. And she was just bouncing, like, you're feeling better, aren't you? It's like, yes, I am. So I do know that extent. Do I always use it? No. Have I used it to the extent to where, I've used it on everybody? Yes. But I've also learned that there's only certain individuals who will accept it, and then that's the ones that you work with. If you just give it out to someone expecting them to take it, and they're not going to, they're going to abuse it. They're going to okay, whatever, and then gone. And you're wasting your energy. You're wasting everything when you do that.
And I agree with you because that expels so much out of you. But you're very wise in that. But what I'm telling you is when I got that flash and that thought, there has to be something more to this. And I don't know if you need to go into Reiki or maybe you already do. I don't know. But there's something more that you need to do. Okay, and maybe there needs to be a weekend or two a month where you do this and you help people and you can help yourself build a clientele and people that will come to you and get the healing they need. Because I'll tell you, in that 10 seconds we had that hug, I felt so at peace and so calm, and I stopped crying, and I let everything go. And that made me feel so good. And I'm not only speaking about the first time I hugged you, the second time when I came in from that outside chaos that we had. And it was I even told Tim Shaw that night when we took him back to the hotel, I'm like, thank God she was there. She grounded me, not once but twice tonight. And he just kind of turned and looked at me and he said, yeah, I talked to that woman a couple times. She's something special. Don't you agree? And I said, yes, she is. And I've never told you that until tonight. So there you are, darling.
Yeah.
And
see,
I completely agree with you, Jonathan. I didn't mean to cut you off, Brenda, but I needed to bounce off on this too. Like every single day, Brenda, you may realize this, you may not, I don't know, but you empower and inspire me every single day. You don't need to do anything, just being in your presence does that for me. From the moment I met you, I worked at the coffee shop and you walked in and most customers just ignore me or they treated me like I was just, an implement standing there to serve them. You looked at me and you acknowledged me. You saw me, and that did more for me than anything ever has. And you continue to do this every day for me.
And I thank you. I mean, thanks, guys, for this confirmation and the kudos and stuff like that. There are times that I doubt myself because there are individuals who come into my life and I don't recognize, and I don't do this. Seems like it's always the things that I don't do that I, look at more than the things that I do. And it's just, and those times that I don't is the times that always pulls me down, and because
let me tell you something on that, sweetheart. I've learned a hard lesson with that, and I've learned it through Deb and Debbie that sometimes, and it could be the most insane thing, when I'm out and about, if I get a message for somebody or I have the feeling that I need to go up and just tell somebody, hey, you know what, you look pretty today, or whatever, and touch them and let them know that they can connect with somebody for 2 seconds, I do it. And I used to never be that person. Like, I'd look at somebody across the room and go, wow, I should probably go up and say something nice to them. But I'm not going to do it, and I would walk away. But I do it now all the time. I mean, even this weekend when I got drug out to a flea market to walk around, and you know, I'm barely walking right now, but I did it. There was a couple times I'd walk through and I'd see somebody and go, hey, what a cute dog you have, or you know what, hey, nice smile. It's good to see somebody smile. And I would just say those things because I knew at that moment they needed to hear that. And sometimes saying something so minute, which probably means nothing to anybody else, when you say that, it can impact somebody so much that it carries them through the rest of their week or their day or their month or whatever it is. And Brenda and Donny, both of you have that ability every day because both of you have posted several times on Facebook, or I've read something that has uplifted me when neither one of you know how much it has. And you don't know. And that's something that maybe we should all challenge ourselves to tell that person when I see something positive. Thank you for the message today. You may not understand what it means to me, but thank you. And then go on with your day.
Yeah, and I try to be very positive when I talk to people, and when I do see something, like I had a guy in my teller station, okay, and he just smelled really nice, and I told him, I said, you know something, I am very glad that you take the time to be proud of who you are by wearing the cologne. I didn't necessarily say it that way, but by wearing the cologne that you're wearing, it smells very nice. And he looks up at me and he smiles and he says, thank you. And I think I embarrassed him a little bit. But, you know, if I helped him through that day just by saying that, then I've done my job. You know, sometimes we don't realize that.
Without knowing it.
Yeah, yeah. And then I immediately thought, oh, he must have thought I was hitting on him. And I was like, no, I wasn't.
Well, you know what? Even if he thought that and it uplifted his day, it made it brighter. And that's all that matters.
That's true, too. That's true, too.
That message went through.
Yeah. So we have 90 seconds left. I do want to plug the other shows.
Sorry.
So let's do this right now. Now, on Monday nights, we have Beyond Smoke and Mirrors from 7 to 9 p.m. right here on this station. On Tuesday nights, we have Spiritual Journeys, which is a new program. So check them out. They're really kind of neat. And they're also at 7 to 9. And then on Mystical Awakenings Radio, which is Mystical Awakenings, that's where we're at right now, Deb and Deb, they are awesome. And they are on from 7 to 9. And then we have our very own Jonathan here, who is on True Paranormal on Wednesday nights from 7 to 9. These are great shows. If you want to be enlightened, you want to know more information, please go check them out. And again, don't forget, this month is Alzheimer's Awareness Month. So please, on the longest day, the 21st of June, please go check us out, donate, help Alzheimer's awareness become non-existent, okay? With that, thank you, everybody, for coming, and we will see you next week on Cornucopia of Identity. See you later. Dream on.
Bye.